And that water sure is good, man. Time to wash the brain. Because that's what indoctrination is, right? Brainwashing. See, this is my second video in this series of indoctrination. First one was about the kids' cartoons. And, you know, whatever. But how do we indoctrinate the black woman of this country? How do we indoctrinate anybody? Again, through repetition. And sometimes it's not even saying the same thing, it's showing the same thing. With that little subtle message. Okay? First of all, I want to kind of promote this book right here, man. This is a good book. Brainwashed. And it kind of goes into the mindset we have today and talks about the roots going way back to slavery. How we've been brainwashed in slavery to act and talk the way we do today. Now, this is a pretty good book, man. Got some good pointers. Alright. What I want to talk about today is the indoctrination and brainwashing of black women. Okay? And how they do it? They do it through cooning. Okay? Through cooning. And before I get into that, I want to... What do we have here? What do we have here? Huh. Who hid that in there? I found it. Whoever hid that in, I found it. See, you want to hide something from black people? Hide it in a book. But see, since I read, can't hide it from me. Found $2, brother. Thank you. Anyway, cooning. What is that? Okay. Let me explain something to you. Because today, we've been led to believe that cooning is speaking against black people. But you idiot, you don't realize cooning is not speaking against black people. Cooning is something black people do, not what black people say. You understand? Originally, that's what it was. But before I get into that, let me give you the history of the European stepping foot into Africa and what they thought about us, right? Right from this book right here, man. Right from the book. Alright? Let me see if I can find it. And that's the thing, man. It's hard to find pages where there's no... Hard to find pages where there's no... Okay, here we go. Thomas Jefferson. He dead. But he wasn't right. He was not right. Okay. This is from page 44. It says, ape by association. It says, we believe that even among people who aren't particularly prejudiced, the association between blacks and apes is still strong. Englishmen were introduced to the chimpanzee and black Africans in Western Africa at the same time and place. The startling human appearance and movements of the chimpanzee aroused their imagination. They also misappropriated the cultural tradition of polygamy as uncontrollable lust. In European eyes, the warfare, diet, and other aspects of African life they encountered placed Africans among the beasts. I'm going to tell you how nasty that is, though. I'm going to tell you how nasty that is in a minute. And this shows the European culture. And for white people, I'm not talking about you today. I'm talking about back then. Okay? What this is saying is that when Europeans went there, because you got to understand, every land has an indigenous animal. Okay? In Africa, there was apes. Remember, Solomon, he had apes imported from Africa. If you ever read the Bible, he had apes imported from Africa. Okay? Now, when the Englishmen or European went down to Africa, and they seen the apes, and they seen the African man, we look like chimpanzee. Ain't that messed up? But, I mean, you can't help it. I seen some people look like gorillas. We do, some of us do, look like monkeys. But, that don't mean we act and think like monkeys. But that's what they felt. Okay? That's what they felt. And so, what they're basically saying is that Africans are not really humans. They're beasts. Those are missing links. Those are missing links between humans and chimpanzees. We were nothing but beasts. Okay? Now, hold on for a minute. Let me wash my brain out a little bit more. Okay? Now, they label us brutes. Okay? Another word for brute is savage. Right? So we were violent. Africans were naturally violent because we were beasts. Just like apes, they're naturally violent. You get too close to the environment, they're going to pound you. So Africans and beasts, they go hand in hand. And then wait a minute, what do we have here? These Africans, these pagans, these heathens have more than one wife? Man, they overly sexual. We got some sexually violent beasts that live down in Africa. Let's go tell our family, let's stay away from them. And so that was a stereotype of Africans. And even the African dances. You see, when Europeans lived in those mountains region, that cold region up there, they need to cover up. The more south you got, you have to take some stuff off. It's anywhere. Okay? So, African man and woman, it was skin shown. Some of the women showed their titties, right? Breasts. However, it was in a controlled environment. It was never as a sign of lust. Okay? But since the Europeans seen that, they took that as, wait a minute. They must be down here doing all kind of sexual orgies, right? Even the dances. When the man and woman dance together in a circle as a ritual or cultural dance, you understand, the man and woman did dance together, but it was not on each other. In fact, the man dance had a different step than the female dance. So today when you go to the club, that's not African dancing. You see, African dancing, it was the man danced different from the woman, even though they danced together. So it was not sexual. It's not sexual in nature. Okay? But the Europeans seen that, and that's what they thought. Because remember, you look through the world through your eyes. Meaning that, as a European, if I see somebody with no clothes on, I'm finna go hump it. And they put that on Africans, that's what we did. That anybody we seen with no clothes on, we was out there humping. We wasn't like that. Alright? You got two women, that's what you have. That's your tradition. That's your culture. But it didn't have anything to do with being lustful. Okay? And so that stereotype came all the way over here to America. And they continue to tell that to their sons and daughters. That's how stereotypes is passed on. It's told to our sons and daughters. Now, when the Africans came over here, I'm going to tell you, we resisted as much as we could. We resisted. We fought. We fought and we fought. Even on ships, some mothers, they could not foresee themselves going over there to the West Indies. They could not see themselves doing that. So they would take their kids and jump overboard. And as you know today, black people can't swim. We can't swim. We drown. Because, I don't know, maybe in Africa we not by water. I don't know. But they would jump over, they kill themselves, so they would come over here and be enslaved. Or be victimized. Okay? And so, we was resisting. But eventually, if you're in a situation as a caged bird, you stop resisting. You stop resisting. It's like a flea in a box. They'll jump, and once you put that top on, and they keep hitting their head, they're not going to jump as high no more. And so, the kids are the next generation, or third generation of slavery. The kids just accepted that this is us. This is all we know. This is all we know. That our white father, we have to obey him. We have to please him. Okay? And so one thing the book made reference to is that it said, because remember, it wasn't so much as running away to survive. It was getting into the master's favor. Alright? Becoming a favorite. Okay? Like the teacher's pet. Says one of the primary forms of remaining in favor with the slave master by the slave was to provide entertainment for the master and his household. Great favors and leniency and special rewards were given to the clowning slave, or the cooning slave, the one who kept that stupidity going on, the one who went into the house of the master and showed how stupid black people by nature was, how intellectually inferior we was. They didn't go in there and talk smart. Oh no, you can get beat by knowing how to read. So you got to go in there and act dumb. You got to go in there and cool. And as a reward for you perpetuating the stereotype to his whole family of kids, mom, husband, you got to reward it. And so what would that put into the other slave's mind? That if I want to get rewarded, don't act smart. Act stupid. Do what you're told to do. Act like they say you're supposed to act. And that was cooning. Even after slavery. Okay? And again, as I said before, Thomas Jefferson, let me see what he said about, let me read you what he said about these slaves. Okay? What is this food? What does this food say? Okay? It said Thomas Jefferson helped legitimize the belief that blacks are akin to apes. Okay? Jefferson argued that blacks prefer the superior beauty of whites as uniformly as it is preference of the orangutan for the black woman over those of his own species. Okay? And so he promoted this stuff. He legitimized it. He basically made it into a common thing that we're like apes. Okay? And even after slavery. Okay? It says, Jefferson helped extinguish religious guilt by animalizing slaves, defining them as unfeeling, unemotional beasts. So Thomas Jefferson was a fool. Alright? He made people think that black people, Africans, were nothing but beasts. We were beasts. We had no feelings. We were overly sexual. That if you raped us, we wanted it anyway. We were overly sexual. And again, let me tell you how nasty it is, right? If Europeans really believe that Africans were beasts, why would it enter your mind to even have sex with it? That tell you what they was doing in Europe. That really tell you something about what was going on in Europe, right? Look back at a lot of their gods and their statues of God. What was they mixed with? When they have man, have animal? Because if I really believe someone was a beast, last thing I want to do is have sex with it. But you think it's something that's beast, you have sex with it, and then you try to justify and say because that beast wanted it? Did you believe it was human, or did you believe it was beast? Because you believe it was beast and you have sex with it. Something wrong with your mind, player. Anyway, get back on to the cooning. Later on, as I said before, when we got the audio video TV, because remember it was just radio at first, but when we start to get TV, how did black people start cooning? On TV and tap dance, all black behind off, right? But not just that, we had to paint our face black. Black as this shirt. Put the ash on. Put that red mess on our lips. Make our lips look real big. I don't know if it's red or black, but to make us look more like dummies. The kind you sit on your lap and somebody stick their hand up your butt and talk for you. That's the only way you get the limelight back in those days. Is to get on TV and comb. Perpetuate the stereotype that melanoid skin had an empty dome. You thought cooning was dead? Nope. Bring it up today. What do you black women do? Get on TV and comb. Take it up to Murray. Y'all remember that show, Murray? That mess still come on. What's that show about? Let me wash my brain again. Murray. Remember that? You are not the father. These black chicks get on this show, man, and they sit on that seat. Bring this dumb dude next to him. I would never go on that show, man. If I was a father, you'd never find out because you wouldn't bring me on that show. Because first of all, you got to get on a plane. What that woman said the reason for you getting on that plane was. You get on that show, man. That woman said there and make you look like you the villain, but she opened her legs to you. See, Murray, they go point the picture. I remember this. It was two white people on there, right? This lady pointed to this black child. This black child looked like Kuta Kinte. She talking about the daddy who was white. You see, Murray, this is his son. A white boy, right? Black baby on the screen. This fool said, that's not my job. You thought nobody didn't believe you? But then everybody going boo to the dude, and the child is black. Now, whatever. Now, you have majority of black women going that show. See, Murray, you see, he got his forehead. That's the baby's daddy. Murray bring that big envelope out there. When it comes to Jamarcus, you are not the father. Month later, she come bringing her dude. See, Murray, he got his earlobe. Look at that earlobe. They got the same color earlobe. You are not the father. Month later, she bring another dude. See, Murray, they got the same nose. See how one go up, one go down. That's his son. You cannot deny that's your son. You are not the father. And she do that every month for 10 months. And none of them dudes is a dad. So what is TV showing the world when it comes to black women? That you guys are doing nothing but sleeping around. But then when somebody on the street say, is those two kids by the same daddy, you want to run around with a fit. But you sit at home and watch this Murray mess. What's wrong with you? Sometimes I don't get the black woman in America, man. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm just talking about, generally speaking, just the mindset is just dumb. But we go on these shows. We coon. You get your limelight. But as I said before, what are they doing slavery? To the slave that went to entertain the master. They rewarded him. So yeah, you get your 15 minutes of fame on this TV. Record it on DVR. Show your friends and family. Oh, look, I was on TV. And guess what? You was on TV. And guess what? The world seen as a black woman, you couldn't even have sex with one man. One man was not even good enough. One man didn't even want you. They couldn't even stay around to see if that was that baby. But it's not just one black woman going there. Every week, it's multiple black women. But yet you guys want to get mad when somebody on the street see you with multiple kids and asks, is that your same father? Where did you get the idea from? I'm pretty sure nobody told them that black women sleep around. And if they did, I'm pretty sure black women didn't go out their way to prove that wrong. Oh, no. They get a plane ticket, go sleep in a motel, and come on Murray and prove that stereotype right. Tell me who done it. You tell me who's intellectually inferior. You tell me who's naive in this country. But if that's not enough, then we go on to the reality shows. Now, I remember in the 90s they had the show called the Real World, right? Now, the majority of the people on it was white. They had one token black dude, maybe one black woman, a gay person, the rest was white. And then they had drama, but no one was really kicked off that show for fighting. I think the first person that was kicked off the show for fighting was a black man. That's when they had two black people. It was I think the Los Angeles one, when they had Tammy. That chick from dang, what show is she on now? Dang, what show is she on? She on the basketball. She on the basketball. Tammy, she was on the Real World Los Angeles. And Dave was fighting or they were doing something. He got kicked off. But none of these white people got kicked off. None of these white folks got kicked off that show for fighting. Because they know. They know the world is watching. They know that. They know the world is watching their reputation life. Black people don't care. The more it's watching, the more I love it. I gotta act a fool to keep my 15 minutes of fame going on. You're trying to make an hour out of 15 minutes of your fame. But speaking of basketball wise, I think that's what Tammy's on. I think basketball wise, because Shaquille O'Neal's ex-wife was on there. She produced that show. Basketball wise. Now I just want to speak on one of these chicks on here. Drea Michelle. Nice looking chick. And I'm not gonna say she ugly. But how does she because again, black people how do Europeans describe us? As Jezebels. Black women as Jezebels. Okay? And we know Jezebel, the biblical figure. She was a prostitute. Okay? but she also ran that household Ahab, but she was a prostitute. Okay. Now it says the Jezebel stereotype was used to excuse rape and justify the slave owner's carnal desire. Jezebel-like whores continue thanks in large part to best-selling black female rappers who probably have no clue that they're playing myth personified roles. Okay? It says, let me see what it says. Now, Jezebel, the black man was called brutes, which were savages, and the black women slaves were referred as Jezebels. These were stereotypes that was given to us. Okay? It says, when I was coming up, the media messaging told me that black men were overly sexual. I was glad that I had sexual prowess and I could please women. Okay? Now, you know, that's kind of a mandango. Because naturally, it's proven fact. People with African descent were endowed than European counterparts. That's why at midnight, that white woman come out there at midnight and have sex with that slave. Came over naked. She looking between his legs, looking at her husband like somebody was cursed. It wasn't that slave. Okay? But anyway, see if I found it was some other notes in here I want to put. Let's see. Oh. I read that. Okay. Where's that paper I had? Where is it at? Okay. Proud to be dumb. This is another chapter in that book I just said. This right here. Book right here. It's not about white. It's about education and power. They didn't want me to have either. Who didn't want them to have either? Slave master. They didn't want the black slave to have power or education. Because it said knowledge is power. And we keep these black people ignorant, we keep them subjugated. Okay? Hollywood has filled this world with characters that make underachievement acceptable and attractive. Okay? And so what's the reality shows doing? What are they making attractive to our youth, our black youth, when it comes to basketball wise? They making the gold digging attractive. They call it basketball wives, but none of these women are wives. Drea is basketball baby mama. She was never married to this dude. Never married to the 50 man she been with. You understand me? And so all her glam, and I'm sure she was a model. She made money from other things, but that show didn't highlight that. She was a model before that, but she's known as a basketball wife, not for a video vixen, not for her modeling, because she made money doing that before. But the show is not highlighting that she made money doing well-to-do things. The show is highlighting this woman, her claim to fame was having sex with a basketball player. And that's the thing to do. Okay? Let me read this Trick's track record. Now, nobody care about your sex life. Nobody care about that. But when you put it on TV, then what you expect? Care less who this chick's sleeping with. But, just to prove my point, 25-year-old woman, right? She dated Orlando Skandrick. That's who landed her on that show. Her relationship with him. Okay? Her relationship with him. As she got through with him, she started dating Chris Brown. Now, Chris Brown is known for beating forehead, right? He known for punching a chick in the forehead. But what did Drea do? She gonna take this fool. And she gonna teach TV show. And Wendy Williams put her in place. And I like that. That show was funny. She put her in place. Because Dre had been passed around the basketball court more times than Spalding, right? But Wendy Williams put her in place. That you done slept with all these men. And then she sleep with Chris Brown. I think I'm going to make another video about why chicks fall for these bad dudes. Because I hear so much stupid excuses. But I got a reason. It goes back to this too. Goes back to this. Goes back to not wanting to fail. Okay? I'll make a video about that. Why these chicks go for these bad dudes. But she fell for Chris Brown, who beat Rihanna's forehead to a swollen mess. You understand me? Her head was already big, but it was swole. That's how bad he beat her forehead. That's probably all he's punching. That's the only thing he get to. Is her forehead. He didn't punch her nose. He didn't get her eye. He punched her forehead, right? And he kept punching it till it swole. But that's who, after she seen that picture, that's who she went after. Drea, what's wrong with you? Then she go after Fabulous. Now he's fabulous somewhere because all these women he been with, they sprung up that dude. So somewhere he's fabulous. Gilbert Arenas, Kenyon Martin, who's played for the Denver Nuggets, Javaris Quinton, Meek Mills, French Montana, Deshaun Stevenson, and there's probably other people on there. I don't really care too much about those. But the point is, with Dre's boyfriends, ex-boyfriends, she can make her a basketball starting line, right? Take all her ex-boyfriends, she can make a basketball starting line and a new niggas with attitudes hip-hop group, right? Meek Mills, who else she? Fabulous, Chris Brown, French Montana, niggas with attitudes, man. Go make you another group, man. But again, you call this chick a basketball wives, and what do they put on these shows? Because none of these women are wives. They're not highlighting what they're doing as women, as wives. They're not highlighting the role as wives on these shows. So as a black girl, I'm sitting here watching this show, and I know that when I get older, I want to be like other black women I see on TV. But what's the only black woman I see on TV? I see basketball wives. What do I see them doing? Because how do they get this limelight? I want that. I don't see them spitting off any education to the world. I see them stirring up drama. I see them arguing, bickering, fighting, doing that brute mess as they labeled us back in slavery. And that justified slavery is that by nature we were violent. So we need to be controlled like a wild animal. And so you got these bunch of black women sitting together, being filmed together, acting like brutes, acting like savage men. Okay? Acting like savage men. All they do is go in there and argue. But again, it's called basketball wives. Is that how wives supposed to act? No. My wife acts nothing like that. And I would never marry a woman who act like that. And I guarantee you, no man would be attracted to a woman like that. Now, will he want to get in bed with her? Maybe. Maybe that's a turn on. Maybe wild women who cuss and fight. Maybe that's a turn on to some dudes. Maybe that's something I want to get in bed with. But do I want to spend the rest of my life with a woman who's dramatized and filled with drama? Oh no. I don't like drama. Alright? So, that's what the reality show is promoting. But yet they get their fame off their shows. Okay? They get their fame off these shows. Why are reality shows promoting this stuff? They're indoctrinating the youth. They're indoctrinating America that this is how black women act. This is by nature what they do. And if that's not enough, they go along with, what's the other one? Housewives of such and such. Atlanta Housewives. You got Kenya and Portia up there acting a fool. Right. You got the Bad Girls Club. Now I know they have different ethnicities on there, but majority of people fighting you see is Hispanic or African American. And so what are they pushing out there for us? What are they indoctrinating us by? Are they putting out the intelligent black women out there? Nope, they're not. They don't want to put that image out there. I'm sorry, I had to keep. People want to keep coming in the room while I'm trying to fill this knowledge up. Alright? Anyway, as I said before, the media does not want to put black women in a good light in this country. Why not? Because it's easier to indoctrinate or to subjugate a dumb individual than one who has common sense. You see, it's easier to do that. And so we want to keep our black women uneducated, violent, and always sexual, so that they never get anywhere in this country. And so you have again, Atlanta Housewives, loving basketball. Basketball wives, loving hip hop. And none of these women go in there to show what black women are really like. what black wives are really like. They're going to show the savagery, the stupidity, and overly sexualized life of a Jezebel. Makes no sense to me. But then we'll sit there and get mad at somebody down the street who has never ever had any relationships with black people. Ask us, is that how black people act? The only thing they know about black people is what they see on TV, because they'll never go down the street with black people on there. They're too scared. They think we're just going to tap them like a bunch of loose pit bulls. But we black people are not like that. We're civilized. At least I am. But again, if that's all you see on TV as black people is uncivilized, the violence, then I'd be scared to go down the street too. You see, you have your white daddy. So he tells his little son, look here, Billy Sue. See those black people down there? Do not mess with them. See how they act on TV? You see that? Do not mess with them. They're just like apes. I tell you, son, they will beat you down. He tells his little daughters, Mary Ellen, Mary Beth McClatchy, you never mess with them black whores. All they do is sleep around and they'll get you to do the same thing. You just watch them. Never bring one into my house. Look how they act on those shows. Look at them. All they know how to do is fight. All they know how to do is fight. They can never get around civilized. Never get involved with them. And so Mary Sue says, that's not how black people act. You're wrong, Grandma. You're wrong. You'll see. You'll see. So Mary Sue goes. She tried to give black people a chance. Ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Wrong star! Mary Sue getting beat down. Somebody try to stop her. That person try to stop her. 3 people jump on him. And so Mary Sue grew up with that traumatized effect that Grandma was right. And so Mary Sue tell her kids that. Her kids don't believe it. But then her kids turn on MTV, BET, Bravo, and say black people are not like that. But then she sees them. But a black woman's not going to go on TV and counter that. Oh no. She won't get leniency. She won't get her reward. Because remember, they rewarded the slaves who went in there and cooned. They didn't reward the black slaves. They beat them. They didn't record the intelligent slaves. If you're intelligent, you know how to read a slave, you get beat and possibly lynched. So to go on TV and advertise your knowledge and try to free the black man from this dumb mentality, you get beat or villainized. So yeah, let's do better, man. Let's stop going on these reality shows. Women, stop going on these reality shows. You're stupid. Let's put a better image of ourselves out there. You're never going to be in New York. New York was a tool. You understand that? New York got her little 15 minutes of fame for acting a fool in Flavor of Love, but where's she now? She got a little white boyfriend just disappeared. So go ahead. I said, folks, on TV. Go on, keep on acting a fool. Go on, keep on fighting. Go on, keep sleeping with these ballers. Gotta teach those white people that we civilized. Gotta teach them. Gotta change the whole attitude of us. Let's just keep on going on Murray. Let's show them that black women know how to be good wives. You know how we do that? Let's go on Murray. We go on Murray, have sex with 10 baby daddies. We know which one it is, but we're gonna put it off on the one with the best job. Let's do that. Go on Murray. Let's bring Tin Man on there. That'll show the world that we as black women, we know how to be good wives. We know how to pick the best man in our lives. Let's go on basketball wives. Let's sleep with ballers and not get married to them. Let's just sleep with them. We might not have kids with them. But let's just sleep with them. Because that'll show that we don't sleep around. We find men to be committed to. Right? Because you black women smart. You're very smart. In fact, you're a genius. That's what I gotta say about that. I'm out.